Hello, everybody. Good morning, Elena. Good to see you. Happy you could join us. So we are the Practical Advantage team, communications for Think Together for the summer 2021. My name is Kelly. We have Brittany Tran. We have Tina Fong, Kiana Arvzu, Josette McKeever, and Connor Doherty. It's running a little slow, but we're getting there.
Sorry, it's not going to the next slide like it should be. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's doing this. There we go. All right.
Perfect.
This is the background for Think Together. As a group, as a team, before the client consultation, we gather as a team to research more about Think Together. Think Together is a California-based nonprofit organization which was created in 1997 due to an increase of drugs and gangs in the Salimar neighborhood of Costa Mesa. The founders decided to create this this program to help those people who are unprivileged that can further have a better career and college. The mission statement is partner with schools to change the odds for the kids. This Think Together has served more than 400 California schools from San Diego to San Francisco and works with more than 2,000 students. Next slide. During the client consultation with you, Elena, on June the 9th, we decided to have a goal that you wanted, which is to create more engagement posts and have a better target audience for Think Together. Along with having the goal, you gave us resources, which contains Google Drive, Dropbox, and Smartsheet, which contain the student questionnaire and the social media calendar. Upon that, we also agreed that we will have 2 to 3 posts of content for a week for the month of August and September. Lastly, we also agreed that we should have weekly Wednesday meetings with you and Emily to have a better communication along with you as a client and us as a team. Next slide. A SWOT analysis is the strength, weakness, opportunity, and the threat, which is to have a better understanding of the organization and to avoid any unawareness and risk of not meeting the client's goal. The strength tells about the internal factor of the company. Moving on, the Think Together strength, we found out as a team that there's a diversity in students. The marketing brand is mainly through word of mouth. You're just constantly producing social media content on all platforms, and you guys have a unique brand which targets unprivileged children in across California. Next one. The weaknesses also tell about the internal factor of your company, which is you have a very limited amount of location throughout California. You're not using enough effective hashtags throughout your social media platform, and you have a limited testimonial content throughout social media and a lack of donor recognition content. Next slide. Moving on to the opportunities, which is the external factors of your company, which is the content for awareness of the cause. we have a return to in-person learning, and we also have the increased donor recognition along with a rise in social media users. Next slide. The GRET is also the external factor review company, which we found out that there's a change of classroom learning due to the COVID regulations. We also found out that your social media platforms are being marketed with ads, which is messing up with the algorithm. Lastly, you have Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and After School Matters as your competitors. Next slide.
Thank you, Brittany. Next, I'll be talking about Think Together's target audience. After researching and consulting with our client, we conclude that Think Together's primary target audience are 1. School district superintendents. School district superintendents are the ones who ultimately decide whether a program like Think Together would be beneficial at their campus. Second, we have parents or guardians with children's grade K to 12. These parents or guardians see programs like Think Together as a beneficial way for their children to develop skills for a brighter future. The desire for an after-school programs comes mainly from families in low-income communities and parents who are not able to pick up their children after school due to other obligations such as work or transportation issues. Our secondary target audiences are community leaders, current donors, legislators, and educators. These secondary target audiences recognize the long-term benefit and the extra demand for academic support after school. They believe and support Think Together's mission to partner with school to change the odds for kids. Next slide, please. Think Together key message is to provide after-school learning programs for children's grade K to 12 to better prepare them for college and career. The organization wants to highlight the importance of after-school program and how they can academically and emotionally support their needs. Our social media content aims to increase our clients' social media presence and engagement amongst their key audience. The message across all social media platforms should follow Think Together's positive and inspirational tone while continuing to stay true to the organization's mission and progression. Next slide, please. Our team, Practical Advantage Communication, has helped our client develop social media content for the month of August and September that aligns with the brand's message and their target audience. We aim to stay consistent by delivering relevant and inspirational posts across all social media platforms that celebrates national holidays, testimonies, and information that informs parents and students of the work Think Together can do for their child's future. Next slide, please.
Hi, thank you, Tina. My name is Kiana, and I'm the Media Content Manager for Think Together this semester, and I will be sharing our campaign goals. So like Tina said, she shared our strategic vision. So based off that, we came up with 3 campaign goals. Our first one being to create a social media presence that targets the organization's key audiences and publics, and a presence that increases overall brand awareness. So in order to do so, we produced engaging Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter posts that highlight the organization's educational programs, student advocacy, staff, and parent testimonials. In addition to that, we included interactive national holiday posts and highlight the importance of after-school programs as a whole in an effort to connect things together with other school district administrators and parents looking to partner with the organization. Next slide, please. Our second goal was to increase the potential for future enrollment by producing social media posts that focus on specific success stories, concepts, and skills Think Together helps students master. In order to do so, we created curriculum-centered content that highlights the many activities, programs, and resources made available to low-income and underprivileged children all throughout California from Think Together. In addition, we created posts highlighting success stories from past and present Think Together students, parents, and staff. Next slide, please. And then our final goal was to deliver 2 to 3 posts per week for the month of August and September with a variety of formats, including relevant photos, videos, and graphics. In order to do so, we created social media in order to do so, we created a social media content calendar that outlined our deadlines, captions, photos, and photo locations of all social media content. created for Instagram and Facebook. In addition, we supplied content ideas for the organization to utilize on other platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram stories. Next slide. And so based on those goals, we created the following content to be shared across all of our clients' social media platforms. The first post highlights National Book Lovers Day and the importance of reading for child development. The middle post is a staff testimonial for highlighting a heartwarming experience. And the third post is an example post that highlights National Play Outside Day. Our goal was to capture Think Together's mission statement, which is partnering with schools to change the odds for kids. Next slide.
Thank you, Kiana. Some of the challenges we've overcome is the ability to map out timelines and keep on task as a team. Being this is a virtual class, this was a little challenging, and it helped us, I think, for the future because of COVID-19. We had to overcome internal communication struggles and how to learn accountability within our cohort. Learning what works in regards to the best way of communication with a Think Together team, understanding how to gain feedback and communication efficiently. I think we did this and we overcame this. Learning to adjust to the speed of the semester and adjusting timelines and deliverables as needed. I feel like we had a good communication with Elena and Emily on this subject. Learning to understand and set brand guidelines and the structure already in place. Also learning about Think Together's philosophy. I think this was a huge challenge because it was a lot of information to digest all at once in about a week and a half before we started creating content and stuff. And not knowing, I guess, our future on how our content was perceived and received to measure the amount of success rendered for Think Together. Next slide. Some of the tools and resources we were able to use, we were provided with Think Together's Canva, Dropbox, and Smartsheet for content calendar that they already had. We also had a Google document that was passed back and forth, and we were able to receive instant feedback in real time so we could edit and revise as needed and submit back. This was also super helpful in the communication and the lack of time we had. Also, we used Spring 2021's work and their content to align our content for the future. We also use Zoom as our major mode of communication due to COVID-19. It was extremely challenging to do this all virtually, but it provided us a good lesson for the future.
Hi everyone, my name's Josette and I'm the campaign manager also. So I'm just going to go over the campaign 1, 2 and 3 outcomes. So Connor, if you could click on campaign 1. So for campaign 1 outcome, the goal was to create a collection of social media posts with a strong message targeting the organization's key audience. We used images and shared stories from Think Together's Dropbox and Smartsheet. And with this content, we focused on building better brand awareness, engaging with the target audience and promoting the programs. We used the images to showcase the purpose and overall mission of Think Together and how they made a difference to the children's lives. And we made the content material captivating by picking good images to use with good captions and the relevant hashtags. We focused the hashtags on using popular hashtags to reach our target audience and also having Think Together individual hashtags. If you could go on to campaign 2, Connor. So for campaign 2 outcome, the goal was to deliver 2 to 3 posts per week for the month of August and September with a variety of formats, including relevant photos, videos and graphics. We created social media content calendar for August and September, and we produced content by our team that was aesthetically pleasing using Adobe Spark while also following the brand guidelines. We condensed some of the stories that were shared on the smart sheet just to make the caption easily readable for our target audience, and while also making sure that we got the heart of the story to still make it captivating. And we based on our research and our meetings with our client, our content will be most successful on Instagram and Facebook. So that was our primary focus. If you could go on to campaign 3, Connor, thank you. So for campaign 3 outcome, the goal was to increase the potential for future enrollment by producing social media posts that focus on specific success stories, concepts, and skills that Think Together help students master. We use the social media platform as a visual marketing tool to showcase the overall success and mission of Think Together. And we focused on posting content to the program, activities, stories, and the resources that are available to low income and underprivileged children around California, and drive an overall positive outlook on the difference that Think Together makes. And by having this consistency and by building this brand awareness from posting effective social media posts, we want to increase future enrollments for Think Together, and we'll measure the success after the months of August and September. And that's it for the campaign outcomes. Thank you.
So for the measurement and evaluation of success, the biggest struggle that we had was just knowing that our content won't be posted during the semester where we're working. So as a team, at least, won't be able to see the content being posted. But of course, we're still excited to see for when it is posted. So those metrics and seeing how successful the content that we created actually was will have to also maybe be looked at by the Think Together team themselves, since we will no longer be working on this project once for August and September once the content is posted. And our overall our measurement and evaluation of success for us and our group in this moment will ultimately have to be through Elena's satisfaction with the content that we created with her team, and ensuring that they like the content that we created for them, and they're excited to use it, as excited as we are for the months of August and September. So some things that we could have done differently that we noticed throughout the semester, just being more strict with internal due dates, ensuring we're not getting too far behind on any internal due dates that we had to ultimately make sure the big goal was being met. Having a set agenda for all meetings, definitely we noticed would have helped to make things a little bit more efficient, whether it was with Elena or with each other. Just having a more set schedule or agenda definitely would have things run a little bit more smoother, we found. Meeting more frequently as a group, we also found would have been more something that we maybe could have done differently to help ensure that things were kind of being met properly, and that we were getting things done that we wanted to get done, and everybody was on the same page essentially. And just overall, maybe just a little bit better communication amongst the group and the client. Sometimes we would get a little bit confused by things, and just ultimately ensuring better communication ultimately would have kind of maybe been something that we would have tried to have done differently. And then lastly, things that we learned, just as I mentioned, communication is key. Ensuring that we all have good, proper communication throughout the entire process just makes the entire process run a lot smoother, both with ourselves and with Elena and the rest of the Think Together team. The other thing that we found that we learned is to not just say people are going to do certain things within a group, but just write them down and make sure everybody's on the same page and we can hold each other accountable to make sure everything that needs to get done is getting done. Something that Elena had mentioned early on is identifying strengths and weaknesses of group members to ensure everybody's being divided to go do tasks that they specifically have a strength in. So that's something that we made sure to do early on, and we found that to be quite beneficial to make sure people are only working on things that they were good at. And then internal due dates, just like I said, are essential for projects, ensuring that the smaller deadlines are being met in order to meet and exceed the bigger deadlines that we have down the road. And then lastly, many things to consider when posting content for an organization. That's what we found is something that we also have to take into consideration, is just simply how much you have to be aware of, whether you're kind of posting content for an organization, ensuring all groups are kind of being represented in the content that you're posting. And lastly, on behalf of myself, Kelly, Tina, Josette, Kiana, and Brittany, we're super thankful that we had this opportunity this semester to be able to work with the Think Together team, with Elena, with Dr. Swanson, to learn a lot this semester, and we're excited for the content to be posted later on. Thank you.